Nagato. Got no father like I'm Naruto. Keep the blade on me, Ichigo. Who really wanna go toe for toe? GTR from Tokyo. Diamonds whipping up on the stove. Lucky man like a 4-leaf clove. Diamonds wanna go.
Hello everyone, this is Nagato's Adventure. Hope you guys are having an awesome day for today. In episode 5 for my little mini HEN series, I'm going to be teaching you guys on how to play PlayStation 1 games on HEN. With that being stated out the way as well, I do recommend that you guys go ahead and check out my official playlist for my HAN and HEN tutorials so you guys can get up to date. Everything is in chronological order, so if you watch episode 1 to all the way to this episode 5, you guys will be on the same page and you will get to learn on all the benefits you can do on a HEN enabled PlayStation 3. With all that fun stuff getting out the way as well, please be sure to follow my latest social medias so you never forget the latest hacking guides and tutorials on my channel. I usually post my videos on Twitter, or that's where I usually notify all of my supporters and fans, and I usually try to drop a video every single day, so that's the best way on how to know when I drop my latest videos. Of course, by subscribing to me and hitting that notification button is another way on how you guys could know when I drop my latest videos as well. If you guys want to be up in the mix or just want to join my community, I recently made an official Discord that you guys could join. You could go ahead and join via in the link in the description below, or as showcased on the screen, you could type in that link in the URL bar. Not only you could get help for your favorite consoles and stuff like that, you can meet new people from the hacking community and modding scenes, or if you just want to talk to me on a daily basis and want to get the latest updates on what I'm doing for my channel, the best way on how to know that is just joining my official Discord as well. If you do want to support any want to support my channel in any shape or form, you can feel free to donate via my PayPal. Any money and that I may receive from my supporters and stuff like that will go straight back into the channel or help me buy things such as a better camera, a better microphone, and any tools I would need to produce the best content for you guys. But all that fun stuff getting out the way, we could go ahead and get started on the prerequisites and things you need for your PlayStation 3. Any of the items I state, except of course game links and stuff like that, will be in the download description below. So first things first, you need any PlayStation 3 system that's either a Fat Slim or Super Slim. Since HEN could be ran on any of those variants of the PlayStation 3. Your firmware needs to be a 4.84 firmware or lower. It can be done on a higher firmware. So for example, as of right now, the latest firmware for the PlayStation 3 is 4.84. But if Sony were to release one for 4.85, it's possibly going to be patched. So never ever update your system above 4.84 for this process. Your system needs to already have the latest version of HAN and HEN installed for this process. So if you don't already have that already installed, that's why I did suggest you guys to go ahead and check out my previous videos, episode 1 and 2, on how to install HAN, and then HEN is for episode 2. So go ahead and watch that so you guys could be on the same basis as this video. Of course, you need any PlayStation 1 game that's in Bandicoot format or is in ISO format. And as well, in terms of homebrews, what we're going to be using today is Multiman or Webman. In this video, I'm going to be showing Multiman and a little bit of Webman, but most of the installation I'm going to go through Multiman. Of course, you need a USB stick that is formatted to FAT32. And one thing that I do want to get stated out the way and some useful information and tips, if you guys for this process, you get your PlayStation 1 game of choice, and if you want to add box art or cover art to have a more official look and a cleaner presentation, you could Google and like any high resolution picture or download my box art pack for any PS1 titles. So for today's example, I'm going to be using, of course, the famous game Crash Bandicoot, one of my favorite games of all time in my personal opinion, and I'm going to be showcasing on how to install cover art to your bin or ISO format game so it looks cleaner, and programs or homebrews like Webman and Multiman. As well, we're going to be formatting our box art to this certain dimension right here, 512 by 505. I know for sure it works at at this dimension. If your thing is in like lower than the 600 dimension range, like 600 by 500, it should be fine. But I know for sure this is the correct dimensions for your box art. One thing I want to stay out the way as well, I just want to give a special thanks out to the PlayStation 3 exploit dev team. And don't forget, if you need any help, you can feel free to join my Discord. But all that fun stuff getting out the way, we could go ahead and get started on today's video. So I'll meet you guys at the PC. Alrighty guys, assuming that you did follow all the prerequisites as stated in the intro, we could go ahead and get started on the PC side of things. Of course, what I like to do right now is to go ahead and get started on each of these files and explain the purpose of them before we install them to the USB. So first things first, assuming that you guys are doing the box art method, it's totally fine if you skip this and you don't have to, listen to what anything I'm saying. But if you do want a more cleaner and official look, personally I like the more cleaner and official look when I see my games into like Multiman and stuff like that. I recommend following this process. So I will have a .zip of this file right here, and it basically contains not all PlayStation 1 games, but mostly all of the PlayStation 1 box art and cover art for your respective games. So let's say if you're doing like more than one game, and instead of going on Google typing and trying to find a high resolution picture, this may be easier for you since mostly all PlayStation 1 games are in here, or mostly all the popular ones. So let's say I'm going to do, I don't know, Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within, and I have that game. All you would have to do is just find your game of choice in here, drag it out to your desktop, and then you'll basically are done with that step. So for example, I found my game Crash Bandicoot in here. I dragged it out to my desktop as showcased here, and once you have your game of choice, what we're going to do is format our cover art to those certain dimensions. So as showcased here, the dimensions, as I stated, are supposed to be 512 by 505, and the easiest way on how to make sure your PlayStation 1 game is in that certain format, all you would have to do is just right click and go to open with on your cover art of choice. Go into Paint. You could do this in Photoshop, but most people may not have Photoshop installed since it costs money. But if you have Paint, you on Windows 10, you could do this process the same. All you would have to do is go into Resize, go into Pixels, click off Maintain Aspect Ratio if it's not already by 512 by 505. But for horizontal, make sure it's 512. For vertical, make sure it's 505, and then hit OK. All you have to do is go File, Save As, PNG, and then just save it as your basically PlayStation 1 title name and also the region. So for example, my region of Crash Bandicoot is from the United States. Whatever your game is, make sure you know the region for it. But just in this example, here's Crash Bandicoot, already labeled it USA.png. Make sure you put the parentheses just like that, or as well, or basically like the colons, and then just say save. And then all you would have to do is hit yes, and I'm hitting OK right now. Now, as showcased here, since we got our cover art all done and we finished step 1 on how to basically set up the dimensions, you pulled out your box art from this thing. This folder is irrelevant now. Now we're going to be talking about these two files right here. I'm going to be showing you guys on how to install Multiman once again on HEN. If you've been watching my series on episode 2 and 3, it's just installing like any regular packages onto the PlayStation 3. So you guys probably already know what to do that, but I'm going to be showcasing again on how to install basically Multiman and Webman. And here is my game of choice that is in bin and Q format. So here's the Q file, and then here is the bin file. The PlayStation 1 does need both files right here, or if it's just like an ISO file bunched into one, then you should be fine. I've played PS1 ISOs just fine on my PlayStation 3 on custom firmware and also HEN, so I know for a fact it works. But if you have a bin file for a PlayStation 1 game, make sure it has the Q as well. So assuming that we have all of our 5 files downloaded onto our PC, they formatted, or basically the box art is formatted correctly. One thing what we want to do is verify that our box art and also our game name is the same. So right here, how it says Crash Bandicoot, Bandicoot USA, make sure it's the exact same thing and it's by like PNG or whatever. So once we have all that done right here, what we're going to do is go to our USB of choice. So here is my USB. We need to verify that this thing is on FAT32. Before we do anything in terms of formatting, please back up your data unless you don't care about any of the content you have on your USB drive. For me, I'm not going to be reformatting it since I already know I'm on FAT32, but I'll show you guys on how to do the full process. So assuming that you protected all your files, you backed it up to your desktop or USB drive, or if you don't care, you can still follow along with the steps. What we need to do is verify by right clicking over a USB drive, going into properties, and where it says file system, it should state that it's on FAT32. If it says if it's on NTFS or exFAT, we need to go ahead and change that. So we need to hit cancel, right click over a USB drive again, go into format, For capacity, make sure it's the largest size. File system, if it's on NTFS or exFAT, make sure to go to FAT32. In terms of allocation unit size, go to default allocation size. Volume label is just the thing you labeling your USB. I just name mine Sony. And then in terms of like format options, make sure you hit quick format and then hit start, and then by here where it says warning, formatting will erase all data, that's why I said you need to back up your stuff. Just go ahead, back up your stuff, and then hit OK. If you don't have all of that stuff done, or once you hit OK, it will erase your drive clean. And then all you would need to do is just go right click, go into properties, and then go to file system FAT32, and then you'll see basically that your thing's on FAT32. What we need to do now is just take all of our files, drag and drop to here, and then it'll basically be transferring over. So that's all you will have to do from this part. Assuming that you guys are transferring over your games as of right now, what I'm going to do is pause the video, cut it right here, and then I'll meet you back once it's fully done.
A few moments later.
Alrighty, so as showcased here, all of my files are in its proper place on my USB drive. What we need to do now is just X out our USB drive, go to right click over here, and then right click over safely remove our hard drive out from here. So here's mine. And then what we're going to do now is basically take our USB drive, plug it into our PlayStation 3, and then we're going to go ahead and get started on the not PC, but the PS3 side of things. So I'll meet you guys back on the PlayStation 3. Alrighty guys, so we're back onto the PlayStation 3. Assuming that you got your USB plugged in, what we need to do now is to basically enable HEN. So assuming that you have HEN and also HFW installed, aka HAN, we could go ahead and start this process. So all you have to do is just enable HEN as normal. Then as showcased on the screen, it's going to basically do its thing. Then you should get the little notification stating that HEN is fully installed. If you don't have Webman already installed, I'll show you guys on how to do that as well. So what we're going to do first is go into package manager, go to install package files, go into standard, and then install basically Multiman and also Webman. So I'm going to go ahead and install Multiman. I already have it previously installed, but just for tutorial purposes, I'm going to reinstall it for you guys. So that's doing this thing right there. And then the next package we're going to be installing, if I go into package manager once again, install packages, go into standard and go into Webman. What we're going to do is go ahead and let it do its thing right here. So it may take a little while to showcase on the screen for installing, but once it installs, I'm basically going to chop the video right here, or maybe not, maybe I don't have to cut it. Alright, so for some reason it did it, pretty quickly. But as showcased here, you have Webman, and also we have Multiman fully installed. What we're going to do first, if you guys are doing the Webman method, I suggest y'all guys, follow the directions right here. So if you're doing Webman Mod, and if you're doing for the full version, what we're going to do is press X first, and then hold L1 once we get into the program. And then for light edition, just go to, just hit X. So what I'm going to do now is to boot into Webman Mod, I'm just going to go ahead and hit X right now, and then I'm going to hit L1 once I get into the program. Alright guys, so if you did everything correctly as showcased here, what we need to do is to basically enable HEN, because what should have happened is basically your system should have restarted, and then once you enable HEN, you should get basically Webman games already installed onto your PlayStation 3. So once enabling HEN is done, I'm going to go to Webman games, and you should get this folder, and basically you should see your games if you have any installed in a Multiman. So for me, I have Grand Theft Auto 5, and I also have basically another game right here. Next, what we're going to do is go ahead and boot into Multiman as of right now. Alrighty guys, so assuming that you did boot into Multiman, if it's your first time booting into Multiman and getting it installed, it may just ask you to say yes to like some of the terms of service and stuff like that. But once you're into Multiman, what we're going to do is scroll all the way to the left, go into file manager, MMOS. Let me close out these two things, and what I'm going to do is go to PS3 root and go into dev_hdd0 and go into PSX ISO. This is where we're going to be dropping our PlayStation 1 games and stuff like that. So if I go into PSX ISO, and as showcased here, I already did some of this process before, because I had the Crash Bandicoot image in there. But what we're going to do once you have PSX ISO, we're going to go back into PS3 root by double clicking on X, go into dev underscore USB 00. Depending on what slot you put your USB in, it may say USB 001, 002, 003, or whatever like that. Just go ahead and choose dev underscore USB 0 and just don't mind the numbers. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and copy our game of choice, the queue, and also Crash Bandicoot, the actual image, and then hit circle, go to copy, and then we're going to paste into PSX ISO as showcased here. And then as showcased right now, the game is copying over right now on the screen, doing its thing. So it's copying the bin file, the Q file, and also it's copying the image itself. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video right here, and then once it's fully done, I'll showcase on what it should look like into the PSX ISO folder. Alright guys, so as showcased here, here's the games into the PlayStation X ISO folder. One thing I'm going to show you guys too, and y'all probably wondering how did I get these PS3 ISO and PS2 ISO and PSX ISO folders onto the home page of Multiman. So, and it's pretty much very easy on how to do this, and it's pretty useful. So instead of going to like PS3 root as showcased here, going into dev underscore HDD0 by double tapping X each time, you can make a shortcut like on a desktop on a PC and go to PSX ISO and then already, you know, paste your games here, and it's just kind of quicker to do it that way if you're doing it via from Multiman. So I'll show you guys on how to set up that right now. All you have to do is go back out to dev underscore HDD0, go into PSX ISO, and then all you would have to do is say create shortcut, and then boom, you see I already have a shortcut right here. I'm just going to delete this one since I already made a shortcut. But let's say if I wanted to do for PSP ISOs, same thing, just highlight it by hitting X, hit circle, go to create shortcut, and if I wanted to put my PlayStation portable games here, then I can. What I'm going to do now is just go and hit R1, and now you probably see that I have no games in the retros column. If I go to refresh, you're going to see Crash Bandicoot. Now what we need to do, if the game image is not showing, we may have to format it to a .jpg. So the easiest way on how to do that is go back into PSX ISO, go into here, and then rename as a .jpg file, and hopefully it will show up, because I know sometimes Multiman doesn't like PNGs. So let me see if I refresh the database if it will show. I may have to restart Multiman right now to get the image to actually show up, so that's what I'm going to do here right now. Alrighty guys, so as showcased here, after restarting Multiman again and renaming my file to .jpg instead of PNG, for some reason I'm not too sure why JPGs or PNGs doesn't work with Multiman. It could have just been like a simple issue, but as showcased here is the box art of my game. All we need to do now is just go ahead and hit X in a Multiman, and it will boot up Crash Bandicoot as showcased here. Alrighty guys, so as showcased here, this is Crash Bandicoot where it says PlayStation format disk at. If we go up one into Webman games as well and go into PlayStation column, you can see that it shows that Crash Bandicoot is in here as well, along with the cover art. So let's say if you didn't want to go in a Multiman all the time and load up the game, if I go into this column right here, hit X, you see right now it's finding the path and it's also emulating the in PlayStation 1.self, and now Crash Bandicoot has loaded. So all we would have to do is just go ahead and hit X on the actual game, and then you're going to see gameplay of Crash Bandicoot right now. Alrighty guys, so as showcased here is Crash Bandicoot running on the PlayStation 3 without the disc. And if I hold down the PlayStation button right here, not only that I could change some settings in terms of making it full screen and add smoothing on, which I do you know, recommend if you guys don't want to see like the jagged edges of like some PS1 titles. If I want to go to like controller settings and enable vibration, or you know, turn on digital and analog mode, I could also do that. In terms of memory card slots, I haven't set any of memory cards yet, since I was just showcasing that the game is running on the PlayStation 3. But right now, after I show like a quick, you know, some gameplay, I'll show you guys on how to set up memory cards if you do plan on, you know, playing PlayStation 1 games fully on your PS3, if you don't, you know, so happen to own a PlayStation Classic or something like that. But as showcased here, Here is me running Crash Bandicoot in live time on a HEN enabled PlayStation 3. And now I'm going to go ahead and show you on how to set up the memory card. Alrighty, so we're back onto the XMB as showcased here. Assuming that you guys are going to be using a memory card and you want to be saving your PlayStation 1 data, go ahead and go into memory card utility. Go into create new internal memory card right here. Make sure you do the last option for PlayStation, and then this is of course for PS2. In my PlayStation 2 tutorial, I showed you guys on how to do that. So all you would have to do is just hit X over there, and now you have a internal memory card for PlayStation 1. All you have to do is just assign slots. Just make it to slot 1, and that could be slot 2. So for example, if you're going to be doing the PlayStation 2 emulation as well, you can have slot 2s for PS2 games, and then you have the internal memory for slot 1 for PlayStation 1 games. So not only did I teach you guys on how to set up, CoverArt and how to add PlayStation 1 games via with Multiman and Webman, I also showed you guys on how to set up a memory card along with HEN. Of course, to get your games running always every time, you have to boot up enable HEN, then go into Webman, and then just find any of your PlayStation 1 titles there and to the dev_hdd0psx ISO. But with all that fun stuff getting stated as of right now, my name is Nagato. Hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial. If you guys could leave a like and also have any comments and stuff like that, if you guys need help, I'll feel free to ask in the comment section below. But with all that fun stuff, I'm signing out. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Of course, I love the llamas.
Nice and silky smooth.